Good morning, everyone. Anthony here with liveintheend.com. So, as the title says, this is my favorite affirmation. It's really more of a mantra than is an affirmation because the way that you can say it. But anyway, I want to break this down so that you can see how I took different affirmations, a couple of different affirmations, and put them together. And then tweak them the way that I want them to make them mine. And that's really what you need to do. When you're doing any affirmation, here's the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing you can do is ask somebody, what affirmations do you use? And then try and use those affirmations for yourself. Sometimes it works. Most time it doesn't. You really need to tailor the affirmation to you. If you start feeling that there's some type of resistance or something like that, change the affirmation. All right. So anyways, we'll go over my notes here. I found it better just to do notes than it is to fly off the cuff, even though I know what I want to say. The notes kind of keep me on track. So this affirmation can help you get whatever you desire, with a caveat. And that caveat is that you embody the affirmation, just as you would any other affirmation. Okay. And what do I mean by embody it? When you're using the affirmation, feel it as if you're going through that right now. I am this. I am that. And that will help to put you into that state of that wish fulfilled right at that moment. Okay. I've used this affirmation alone to get many of my desires. This affirmation is a combination of an affirmation that I heard somewhere. I'm not sure where I heard this affirmation from before. It could have been on Tom Kieran's site, which I'm on quite a bit, but I'm not sure. See, and then parts and bits that I have added myself. So I don't take credit for this affirmation. I don't take credit for the whole affirmation. Now, has anybody else really used this affirmation in the way that I'm using it? No. Except for my clients. But I'm not going to take credit for this affirmation because it's a culmination of a bunch of different ones out there. Okay? There's nothing magical about affirmations. Anytime you hear somebody say, hey, I've got the ultimate affirmation, I've got this affirmation, if you just say this affirmation, everything will happen for you in your life. Again, no. It's not the affirmation that gets it for you. It's you. It's who you're being. You need to be that person in that moment that you desire to be. That's it. There's nothing else and no one else. Just you. Okay? Affirmations are just like any other technique and are simply designed to help put you in the attitude of the wish fulfilled. They help to get you into the state of the wish fulfilled. All right. So that's what you really need to pay attention to. Are you in the state of the wish fulfilled? Okay. It's the state or frame of mind that helps you realize your desire in your physical reality. Not any magical 20-word prayer or special numbers. It's the thoughts and those affirmations. It's the thoughts that those affirmations help to bring about, that creates the life that you desire. So there's this thing where you go, there's this special thing found in a Bible and stuff, and then you've got to pay for it and so on and so on. Don't do that. Anytime somebody says you got to pay for something, if you want affirmations, I'll give you affirmations all day long. I have a list of thousands of them. Okay. But I'll also help take those affirmations and make them yours. That's the key, is to make those affirmations yours. All right. So what is this affirmation? Okay. So here it is. I am and have always been living in my highest, best, and most abundant timeline or state. I use either one. It just depends. And because of that, everything in my reality is working out perfectly for my benefit. Okay. That, to me, that is the most powerful affirmation I've used, and I now call it a mantra because I'll go all day long just saying that to myself. Okay. Now at times I will add this ending to it. So let's go over that affirmation again. I am and have always been living in my highest, best, and most abundant state. And because of this, everything in my reality is working out perfectly for my benefit, no matter what my 3D circumstances are showing me. Okay. And I'll explain that later towards the end of the video. Okay. The affirmation starts with I am, which evokes the eternal power that created everything without exception. I am is God. I am is source. I am is it's that power that created absolutely everything that is within you, that is you, that's within everything out there. You've heard me say it on every single one of my videos. All right? That power is everything, and that's who you are. Okay? Now, here comes the Bible course. Okay? Don't freak out because it's not what you think. In the book of Exodus 3:13 and 14 of the Bible, God was asked by Moses, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. I am has sent me to you. Now, in most Bibles, it says, I am who I am, but most of us, especially here, English speaking, we read it as I am that I am. And that is a very popular English translation of the original Hebrew. Okay. Either one works, but we're all used to I am that I am. All right. I have a video that the title of it is I am that I am explained. If you want to know what that is, go to that video and check it out. It's a very good video. So let's look at this affirmation. I am is probably the most powerful 2 words that you could ever put together because they are the name of the very power that is in you and created everything. Joseph Murphy did, I'm not going to say Joseph Murphy did this video because he didn't, but somebody had put this together about Joseph Murphy, and he did a lecture on I am, and it's incredible. I used to listen to that every single day just to kind of get motivated and stuff. I don't so much anymore, only because now I can do it on my own. But when I first started getting started, I used to listen to that all the time. Fantastic. Go find it. So, and when you put those 2 words, I am, in front of something, you evoke that power within you to bring the last part of it to fruition. Let me give you an example. Okay. I'm in debt. Okay. I'm not in debt. I'm doing fantastic because God supplies all of my desires and needs. Okay. So I'm just putting that out there. Okay. But this is what people do. They say that they are in debt. And what happens? They're in debt. They for whatever reason, they can't get out of it. Or they say that they are single, using the I am in front of single. Okay. Or they say that they are never chosen, using, and they say this to themselves. They don't necessarily say it to their, out loud, but they say this to themselves. Now, sometimes they'll be in a conversation with somebody, their friends, and so on and so forth, and then they'll say it there. Okay. Be careful what you say. There's a book that was written out. It's what you say when you talk to yourself, because we're always having internal conversations, and you've got to be extremely careful on what you say to yourself all day long. Okay. You then will see these descriptors play out in your reality, and the descriptor is the part that's behind that. Okay. So in other words, I am a YouTube creator. I am in a very loving and committed relationship. Okay. That loving and committed relationship, that's the descriptor of who you are. That's who you're identifying with. And the power of I am is pushing that out into your screen of space. All right. So that's how this affirmation is started, by evoking the power of source or God, whichever word you want to use. Okay. Right after that, I put in, and I have always been in mind. Okay. Now, the reason I did this is because I did this to add revision to this affirmation. That means that not only will the power of God move to create the desire in my now moment, it will also revise my past to reflect that change as well. Okay. Now, becoming the person that I want to become will do that anyway. Okay. But revising it revises anything that has happened in the day that I have forgotten to revise. Okay. So, and like I said, I use this all day long. It's a mantra that just sings in my head. You know, sometimes I wake up to me saying that mantra, that affirmation, because I've said it so much. It's always in my head. All right. A lot of you have asked me, how it's so easy for you to manifest stuff. That's why, because that's the reason it's easy for me, is because I walk around with that attitude that I'm living in my highest, best, and most abundant state all the time. Okay. Again, I'm scrolling around and and went too far. Then I use these 3 adjectives to describe the level and attitude of my state: highest, best, and most abundant timeline or state. There's nothing higher than highest. There is nothing better than the best, and there is nothing more than most. You can't get any higher than the highest that's out there. You can't get any better than the best, and you can't get more of the most. It's just the most. It's just the highest, and it's just the best. That's why those work so well. Okay? Then abundant timeline or abundant state says 2 things. One is abundant. God wants us to experience the abundant life here on earth. That's what he wants. And he wants to experience it he himself wants to experience it through a human experience. All right? Abundant is not just money. It's also love, joy, peace, etc. He wants us to have all of these in abundance. So I affirm for that. Okay? So many people, when you hear the word abundant, that they all of a sudden they get dollar signs or pound signs in their heads, because they think it's all about money. No. When God talked about living the abundant life in the Bible, he was not talking about just money. He was talking about life itself. Mother Teresa was probably one of the poorest people on earth, but she was the most abundant person that I've ever read about. So Elon Musk has nothing on her. Timeline or state goes to the fact that there are multiple versions of not only yourself, but of everyone and everything. There is an infinite amount of possibilities that we can tap into, and some people call that a timeline, state, or parallel reality. I actually like the word state instead of timeline, but timeline flowed better for me in some instances. So I will jump back and forth between timeline and state. Parallel realities and stuff, it not so much. Although it is the same thing. So you use what you want to use. Okay, like I said, you make this yours. Then I use science to help with the next part. Okay, now, There was a study that showed that when you use the word because, it takes away most resistance to your previous statement. Okay, so now they did this thing real quick. They did this thing where they had this line of people waiting for a copy machine, and they put this girl in there, and the girl says that she needed to make some copies, and she wanted to see if she can cut in front, and one or two people let them get ahead of them. Okay, that's it. Then she changed the statement that she was using, and she said, may I jump in front because I need to make copies? And everyone let her go to the front of the line. All she did was change her statement by putting because in there. She gave a reason. And the reason this works so well is because the consciousness of us, that conscious portion of our mind, when you put the word because in there, it's giving it a reason. And remember, the conscious mind is logical. The subconscious mind is just subservient. Whatever the conscious mind allows in it, it then pushes that out. Okay? So that conscious mind is the gatekeeper. When you say, I need to use the coffee machine, the conscious mind goes, so do I. But if you say, hey, may I jump in line because I need to use the copy machine, you put that because in there, all of a sudden, whatever is behind because, the conscious mind says, go right ahead. Because you now put logic to it. Okay? I found that when I use because, when I put this into affirmations, like here's another affirmation that I did. I am everyone's top priority because I am love. And it just flows. I get no resistance from that. When I used to use I am everyone's top priority, I used to get a ton of resistance from that. Okay? The minute I put because in there, it went away. All right? Use it if you want. Don't if you don't want to. So we have in this affirmation, and because of this, in my reality, everything is working out perfectly for my benefit. Okay? So let's look at the word everything. There's nothing left out of everything. This covers all the bases. This covers SPs, this covers money, this covers job, this covers cars, everything. There's nothing. What is left out of everything? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? Then let's look at the word perfectly. Why perfectly? Because the creator that created all of us is perfect. And that is the power that is pushing all of this out onto our screen of space. That perfectness is you. It is in you. Believe it, claim it, take it as your own. You are perfect. Regardless of what the 3D says, regardless of what the 3D suggests, you are perfect. And everything, no matter what's happening in the 3D, is working out perfectly for your benefit. Okay? Remember, when we are consciously selecting our reality, our only job is to simply decide what our end reality will be, and then we leave all the heavy lifting to the power within. Don't worry about how it's going to be done. Don't worry about how it's going to come about. That's not your job. The how is not your concern. That's left up to Source or God or whatever name you want to use. Okay? That will figure out what's the best route to get you what you want. Okay? But so many times we're sitting there and we're looking at our watch and it's not come yet, let me help it out. And then we mess everything up. Stop messing with the messy middle. Get out of it. Stay away from it. Now, earlier I told you that at times I will add this ending, no matter what the 3D circumstances are showing. Okay? The reason I will add this is sometimes there is just a tremendous amount of resistance or opposing circumstances showing up in my 3D. And this ending helps put me in a mental space to deal with them. Okay. It, when I, at the end of that, when I say that, I say it with power, no matter what the 3D circumstances are showing me. I put that in there as a, like a hammer. Like, okay, 3D, here we go. Okay. And this is done. I do this when I've got a desire that just kind of seems overwhelming, you know, that whenever I think about it, I just get a ton of resistance. Okay. And I'll add that to the end of it whenever I'm thinking about that, and magic happens. Okay. And it's because of how I do it. If you just say the words just to say the words, nothing happens there. Okay. It just, you've got to put something behind it. You've got to put some type of emotion behind it. I know there are people out there that say that all you have to do is just robotically say these words and stuff like that, and it'll come to you. Yeah, if you say it 15 million times. Okay, then that'll happen. Is it going to stay? No, it's not going to stay. Because it's not you. Okay? You got to make this you. And the only way that you can make this you is from inside. That's it. Yes, the word is powerful, and the word will get you what you want. But it's what's in you. It's who you are being that keeps it. Okay? That's the important thing. So there you have it. The most powerful affirmation I have used to date. It's my go-to affirmation for everything I do because it covers all the bases. Absolutely all the bases. There's nothing that's left out of this affirmation. Okay? Folks, thanks for listening. And if you like what you heard, click and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And then please put some comments in there. Ask me questions, whatever. In the description, you'll find my email. You can email me and ask me questions. I will get to them as soon as I can. Normally within 24 hours. But please, ask me questions. And remember, you've got this.